Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to a fragment of your imagination. This is the January 2024 challenge. This challenge was created by 7 Forests, 5 Rivers, and they have come up with 31 fragments for us to try. If you would like their handouts, you can visit them at their website or any of their social media accounts. And then I'm doing mine on this that I created, and you are free to download and print this if you would like, and it is in the description of each of these YouTube videos. All right, so real quick, I wanted to revisit yesterday, which was called December. And sometimes I get done with the tangle and I'm like, all right, see you tomorrow, goodbye. And then I remember that I forgot to shade. So I just took my pencil and I just added a little bit on the top of each of these sections, and then used my blending tool to push that out and give these little bit of shadow and add to that layering look. I also put it lightly on the inside edge of each of these seed pods, and then a tiny bit along the line of these that come out. Okay, sorry I forgot about that. All right, so today, let's see, today is January 17th. And it says, repeat and reflect with the fragment F6 from the primer. So if you do not have the Zentangle primer, I recommend getting it. It is just a beautiful book created by Zentangle by Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas. And it has not every tangle pattern they created, but it has a lot of them, and it has beautiful stories in there and beautiful illustrations. And I'm recording right now at a hotel because we lost power from a snowstorm. But if I was recording from home, I would have grabbed the primer and shown you what it looks like. It's amazing. But in there are several fragments, and they don't have names. They just have these letters and numbers. So this is fragment F6. There's also a fragments and reticula book that you can purchase. And I believe that was made at one of the trainings. They asked the CZTs to come up with different fragment patterns. So many fun resources. Okay, so this one is just a Zentangle one, and it's not complicated. It's just some lines and orbs, and it's beautiful. All right, let's zoom in here to the 17th. Okay, so this one is a great example of just kind of the simplicity of just making something inside of a fragment and then repeating it. So it doesn't have to be a fancy tangle pattern or even have a name. It can just be a design that you make up and then repeat a few times. Okay? All right, so for this one, we are going to put in these little curves on all 4 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to put a line and a diagonal from the top left to the bottom right. And then from about the halfway point up here, I'm going to curve in. So I'm just going to go like this and curve down. And the same thing on the halfway point on this side, just curving down into that line. And then we're going to fill in these areas with more of those lines. So I'm just going to continue making those curves and letting them tuck right down into that center line there. And then on this side, And after we get those done, we're going to fill in the rest of these areas with orbs or circles. Okay, so the tinier you make them, the more you're going to have to draw, so don't make them too tiny. Try to vary the sizes. And then I'm going to take my pen, I'm going to ink in these areas around and behind and between the circles. And I'm going to do the same thing on this little section. That side for me fit a lot more orbs. And then I'm going to ink in those extra areas. Like that. And that's it. That is fragment F6. So what I love about this is hopefully this gives you the confidence to, if you're just sitting around doodling, draw a little square, draw a circle, draw a seed pod, and you don't have to come up with some, complicated like knot pattern or this wraparound thing. You could just do some lines and orbs and make up your own little fragment. So I think that's so cute. Okay, I'm going to do this one over here. So I'm going to begin with those 4 little bumps. And I'm going to make my diagonal go this way, so it's the mirror image of this one. And then I'm going to go about halfway and curve down towards that center, halfway and curve down towards the center. Filling those in with little lines that curve in that same way, and then filling in with orbs. Taking a minute to ink in that area in and around and in between the orbs. And really focus on making yours different sizes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this bottom left one, starting with those bumps, which I love how that just makes a sweet little frame. I'm going to do the same thing over here just because I like that repetition. This one is going to go diagonal this way. This one is going to go that way. And I'm going to go to those outer edges here, go halfway, bump down. Same thing on this one, go halfway and bump down. fill it in with those lines. And now more orbs, which some of you are like, oh goodness, I don't love making orbs, but they really are fun. You just got to get used to that feeling of making them. And if you decide you don't want to do orbs on these bottom two, put a different pattern in there. Creativity is highly encouraged. Sneaking some little tiny ones in wherever I can. All right, I've got one more fragment to do with my orbs. It's such a great filler whenever you are tangling and you want to fill in a little area or give it some texture. Adding piles of these little orbs is so fun. I think it's actually called tipple when you put a whole bunch of these together. Do some inking in if you can. Okay, that looks so cool, you guys. I'm going to ink in this little area that I have between my fragments. There we go. And when you step back a little bit, look at that new pattern that forms, which is these little seed pod shapes. And those would be so fun to add some little curved lines in, or some polka dots, or any other pattern. But it's so cool when you put 4 fragments together, what it creates. So I love this one. I hope that you did as well. Again, it is called F6. And oh, I gotta do some shading. See, I almost said goodbye again before I shaded. Okay, I'm gonna shade this one. I'm going to shade the outside of these little seed pods. So right there and there, there and there. Take my little blending tool called a tortillon or a blender stump. I push those out and away. Beautiful. And then I'm going to put just a little bit across that center line of each of these. So right over the top of it, basically. And I'm going to, my blending tool, push it out on both sides. And it's just going to make these little lines kind of look like they're dipping down in. Just gives it some dimension. And that's all I'm going to do, just a little bit. All right, we will see you tomorrow, January 18th. Thank you for joining me. Please visit me on Facebook at Let's Tangle. And if you are not already a subscriber, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. It helps these videos reach more people. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.